Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And wow, we got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way today. We got this young man that's been on the show quite a few times. We are just so happy to have him back. So I tell you, I'm looking forward to having him back on the show, chatting with him and learning all the things that he's doing right now. How you doing, Dr. Michelle? We got 1 minute before we put everything together.
I know. We love having this guest on the show. We are so proud of him. We are so proud of him. We've known him for a couple of years, and he's just taking the world by storm in what he's doing, and he is so smart.
Degree and certificate programs. With online and hybrid courses, get everything you need to succeed again. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
It's Your Life is sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. I'll tell you, wow. Hey, Todd, we got a real one today, man. Well, all of them are real. I'm talking about, but this young guest of ours and is setting the world on fire. He's been on the show quite a few times, and a lot of times that we, as people, as citizens, wherever you're from, we forget about that there are people that are in need of help. And I'm talking about regardless whether they go to the restaurants, certain building, learning how to read because they might be paralyzed, all these other different type of things. So we're going to talk about that one with this absolutely wonderful guest. Todd, how are you doing today?
I'm always good, even better on a Friday. Got a big old bag of popcorn and ready for It's Your Life.
Man. Yeah, it's always nice to have about 8-9 bags though, Todd. One bag ain't going to get you through the show.
Well, it's the Costco size one. It's a real big one.
Yeah, but this topic that we're going to talk about today is real huge, and this young man is at Yale, going to teach and educate us on a lot of things. So, how you doing, Dr. Cooley? How you doing today?
Doing great, living the dream.
Well, it's all about the dream. It's all about giving back. It's all about being able to help others out, and that's what we do. And so I'm excited about the show today. Michelle, can you please, first of all, this is our 4th day syndicated worldwide, over 65 platforms. I'm talking about radio, television, podcast, streaming mechanisms, and we're just having fun because we love this. And I got my producer, Todd, just running things back at KCBQ in San Diego, The Answer. Yeah, so I'm ready, Michelle.
Okay.
Please introduce the title of the show, purpose of the show, and introduce this magnificent guest.
Yes, well, today's title is called Accessibility, and we're having a sit-down discussion with Jordan Colbert. He's an Assistive Technology Professional, Yale University's Associate Director of the Student Accessibility Services. He's an author, published audiobook producer, and the president of A-Team Professional Consulting. He's going to talk about accessibility. What does it mean? Accessibility in the community, accessibility, how it takes a village. So, hailing from outside Atlantic City, New Jersey, Jordan proudly identifies as a biracial first-generation low-income graduate. His journey from receiving his BA in Classical Studies from the University of Pennsylvania to a Master's of Marriage and Family Therapy from the University of Southern California is a testament to his determination and hard work. He began his career in accessibility services at USC in 2015, providing crucial academic accommodations to students with disabilities. Before his work in accessibility, Jordan served as a psychotherapist with high school students and provided cognitive behavioral therapy to substance abuse populations. His achievements also include producing 3 audiobooks and contributing to the #1 Amazon bestseller book, A Black Man's Point of View. Please welcome back to the show, Jordan Colbert.
How you doing, my friend? How are you doing? Hold on. I gotta bring you on the show the right way.
Hey there, everybody. It's good to see you, JC. Ooh, I like the music.
Man, only the best get brought on the right way, man.
Mm, I like
Um,
it. You're setting the vibes already.
how you doing? How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a little while since I've been able to make it on the show, but I'm happy to get back.
Oh man, we're so
Like
happy
you've
to
been.
have you back, man. It's been a while. You haven't educated our audience in a while, so this is special. This is special. What are some of the things you have been? First of all, for the people that might be first time, can you tell them a little bit about you? Where you from? What makes you so passionate about what you're doing, and tell them about where you work at.
Yeah, I mean, first off, if this is your first time, you're in for a great show. You should listen in tomorrow or Monday as well. But So I'm Jordan, as Michelle was talking about. I come from Atlantic City, New Jersey, right outside. And a big thing for me, my passion is really helping people. I've always had a penchant for mental health because I grew up, I come from a single parent family. My mom had some substance abuse problems herself. And living outside of Atlantic City, I've seen a lot of things. My background has really been shaped by growing up in that type of environment and just seeing the way that others struggle, whether that was in the community, in my high school, or in my family. And, there's just been such a deep influence from Jersey, considering I love the Yankees and, not an Eagles fan, but it's okay. But there's a lot that really has built up from that in my ability to overcome things and see others overcome things. And I think after I've gone through my educational journey, it really stood to me that my friends came to me for help, my family came to me for help, and I thought to myself, I'm here to help people. That's my purpose. And so I've really had a passion for that and making the world a better place, one person at a time, and now systemically, where I work, when I'm in my professional roles across the board, whether that's in my position over at, the university that number one university in the world, Yale University, where I provide academic accommodations to students and oversee their assistive technology needs, and making sure that they get the access to their education because it's a number one world-class institution. And if you're smart enough to be able to do this, there's no reason why there should be barriers stopping you that don't pertain to your intelligence. And so, that's just one area of what I do. As Michelle said, I make audiobooks on the side. I'm a
Well,
big
you produce mine,
lives.
and you might be producing the other one that I just released.
Oh yes, yeah. I produced yours, JC. It was a great story, and that's the thing. Getting people's word out there, letting them share their story, and understanding them. That's something that I really care about because people matter, and everybody has a story to tell. And I think with audiobooks, it really that's an accessible practice there to make sure that even if you can't read, even if you don't have the ability to see the print, audiobooks bring people's stories to life.
Wow, you grew up in Atlantic City, and I think you were the only boy out of five sisters and one boy. How was that?
Six sisters.
Six sisters.
Yes. It was interesting because as the only boy, and the youngest, I'm the baby of the family. They all say I was babied, and they're all they're pretty old, or they're much older than me. So my closest sibling is 16 years to me. And so I was kind of growing up by myself, but at the same time, I was learning to navigate and see the way that the world really does treat single parents. The world treats individuals who, female individuals who go out into the world, and really, I got to see a lot of that struggle. I got to see a lot with Atlantic City. I mean, there's gambling right in my backyard there. And you can really see how that affects the community and what that does, especially when you're thinking about the the reason why gambling was allowed in Atlantic City, which originally was to boost education from all the revenue that was coming. But in reality, it didn't do that. And so that's also another reason why education is so big to me and why I've always stayed in it, is because I know the value of education by seeing what the rest of my school was going through because there wasn't the funding that was needed.
Wow. So you went to a world famous university, what two of them, but you're a graduate of Penn, and then you followed through USC. I'm still waiting on you to say, hey, JC, I'm going to go ahead and do it, get this doctorate. We've got 1 minute before the break. How you feel about that? I had to put you on the spot.
Oh man, I'm thinking about law school. So the doctorate is on the back burner. My next goal is to become a JD.
You can do that. That's easy. I'll tell you what, we're going to have to take a station break. But wherever you're watching us at or listening to us on, all you have to do is go to the platform. Whether it's E360 television, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, E360, listening to us on radio live, prime time, KCBQ, the answer out of San Diego. And I tell you want to be part of the conversation, all you got to do is just go to the comments. Ask any question that you might have, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170, and I will patch you through. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A black man.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Encourage and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Hey, Todd, man, you turned this into a party. I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah, I like that you're dancing. That's good. That's a move.
Well, even old people can make a move every now and then.
I didn't want to say anything, but I was going to say, how you know you're old is when you chair dance.
That's a good one. And that leads us directly into the segment. So the title shows accessibility. And Jordan, you've been doing this for a long time. At least um, you've been on my show about 10 times, and you always bring a wealth of knowledge with you. Can you tell our viewers and our audience what is accessibility? What's the definition of accessibility, and some of the ailments and things that will put a person in a category where they might need accessibility to certain things?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's such a big field, to be honest. So accessibility is really the degree to which somebody can access something. So that's at the same level as other people. So things like, if somebody writes something on the board, how can others perceive that, or how can others access that to understand it? How can people get through doorways? So accessibility is really the ease that somebody else can access something. And in the definition of it, when we're talking about it in this type of field, is we're looking at it for somebody with a disability. Because when we think of access, we're thinking of things like elevators for those who may have to use a wheelchair, or we're thinking about like I just said, if somebody wrote something on the board but others are blind or do not have vision, have visual acuity, that's something that we're thinking about. So accessibility is actually huge, because what that means is that's what allows humans to interact with other humans and to have a full and enjoyable life in the same sense as everybody else, regardless of what your ability is.
Wow. So you started this organization, this company called the A-Team Professional Consultants. So can you tell our viewers and audience what that is? Because you're working at Yale, but then you starting your own thing as well. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so the A-Team Professional Consulting company that I have, I actually, in case you can't tell, I love acronyms, and A-Team, actually stands for the Assistive Technology Educational Access Management Professionals. And so what that company really is I recognized in doing all of my work in higher education that a lot of people coming from high schools and coming from community colleges weren't really sure of what was available to them in the higher education world as they transition to college. Many people think, once you're done through school and you have a disability, that's it. You just have to push through. You have to deal with all of the barriers that come up. When in reality, there are laws that allow you to have access and that ensure that you should have access at that next level of learning. And what this company does is I work with individuals who have disabilities who are coming from the K through 12 system. So it's usually juniors, seniors, their family members who may be looking for information, but we help them to find colleges that match what their needs are, or find colleges that can provide the accommodations that they're used to in a inclusive environment. And so also it helps to prepare them to think about, okay, what does it look like? I may have had extra time in high school on my exams. What does that look like? And what do I need to do? What kind of paperwork do I need to get? Where do I even go? Like, what resources are available to me? Because it's such a hard world to navigate when you're just 16, 17, 18, thinking about your future, and you're trying to be just like everybody else, because at your core, you are. There's just little differences. And so me and my team, what we do is we help to navigate that. We put together packets. We also do trainings and workshops to get people to understand, just A, what your rights are, B, how to teach and learn accessibly, and C, how to find those resources that exist in the hidden curriculum of colleges.
Wow. And your LinkedIn profile lists you as a first generation mental health philosopher. What does that mean?
So that is my way of saying that, I am the first generation of my family to go to college. and to be able to have this level of knowledge. And so because mental health is so important to me, I've always thought of it as the core philosophy that I look at the world through. And that's really because mental health, there's so many different nuances and aspects to it that people don't realize. It really is a philosophical lens, in the idea that you have to think about mental health as a constantly evolving experience. It's not, depression for one person doesn't look like depression for another. And bipolar disorder for one person doesn't look like that. All kinds of aspects of mental health, such as, other things such as schizophrenia, neurodiversity in those ends where it does, branch into the mental health realm. It's a philosophical lens. And so I like to debate, I like to think about that. And I like to act on those type of philosophies as we just get to learn more about mental health. It's always at the core of everything I do. And that's really how I view the rest of the things that I do, is looking through that mental health philosophy lens.
Wow. And we have to consider all of those things, look through that lens, just the mental health lens that you just talked about, and also formulate ideas and other things that's going to encourage others to, if they have disabilities, and that's what we're going to talk about in a minute, disabilities and need accessibilities, some of the things that you were previously talked about. I want to go off into that one. So can you explain what is considered a disability?
Yes, actually, that is a very good question, because, I've mentioned a bunch of them so far. And so when people hear disability, many times they think, okay, it's somebody who's missing a limb. It's somebody who may be in a wheelchair, or somebody who may be blind, or deaf of hard of hearing. But it's so much more than that. There's also aspects of things like learning disabilities, where somebody may have difficulty with reading, such as dyslexia. And if you've never actually thought about what that means, think about how a number system, when it's randomizing the numbers, sometimes that's what people who have dyslexia are seeing when they're looking at words. The letters are moving around and jumbled. And so, we're thinking about things that are not just visible to others. So mental health is also a disability. Whether you're depressed, that's affecting any major life function. And that's actually what the real definition of disability is any condition, whether it's temporary or permanent, that affects your ability to do one of the major life functions. And so, at this point in life, almost everybody is going to be affected by disability in some point. Whether you break your leg, whether you contract a significant illness that lasts for, temporary or chronic, whether it's food and allergies. There's so many areas of disabilities that people are unaware of, that in the past, you just push through. Before, people with Crohn's disease may not have known that they had Crohn's disease. They just thought they really had difficulties with their stomach. And when they ate something, they would really end up with severe pain and bleeding and intestinal problems. But they never saw that as something that impeded their life. And so it's important to fully understand that impact of what a disability is on your life or on others.
Wow. We got about 2 minutes before the break, but accessibility, you mentioned that many, many times. What is accessible technology?
Yeah. So accessible technology, also known as assistive technology, are different types of devices that allow somebody with a disability to live a life independently. And so when we think about that, sometimes, the first thing that comes to mind for me, because I see it all the time, is people who are blind or low vision who listen to their phone. They hear their phone speak to them. Their phone is assistive technology, because it now can tell them what's going on. There's people in a wheelchair. A wheelchair is technically assistive technology. These are all things that allow someone to be independent without needing others to be there to do something for them. And in other cases, there's mental health reminders. Mental health has a lot of assistive technology that can help with, meditation, or even reminders that say, hey, remember to take your medication, such as, Alexa or Google.
I hold that thought. So we got to take a station break. We want to come back. We're going to pick it up from there. And so whichever platform that you're watching this on, if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask any question that you might have, or pick up the phone. Call Toddy, that's what I call him, at 1-888-344-1170. KCB Crew to answer, FM 96.1, AM 1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Number one, don't stop till the job is done. You know it starts with a try. Gotta win, gotta spread your wings, gotta fly. Lift up your head, don't stop till it's time for the bed. No matter how hard it seems, gotta keep on pressing, gotta keep that dream. Be the best you can be. Don't get your victory. Throw your hands up in the sky, gotta be number one. When you win, and you will see that there's a story, man. Now follow the plan. Gotta raise up, be a leader, make a change. It's time for you now. Take a stand. Turn around, know that there is a life for you. Gotta keep on pushing, pressing, don't stop till you make it through. It's there that you will find, and your light will shine. And the Lord's gonna help you, He will heal your troubled mind. Now that you got that
Doctor James J.C. Cooley Show. It's your life.
Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Doctor James J.C. Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, my main man here, Jordan Colbert. Love him. I love him. I love all the things that he's doing, and he probably would, don't get mad at me telling you this, but this man is like under 35 and doing all of these great things. And, he took life experiences that he encompassed, turned everything around. One of the best first-class educations, I'm talking about, in the world. I'm talking about Penn, USC. Now he's at Yale and doing a whole lot of things. But most importantly, he is out there helping folks, explaining to things. He started on his own company to help work with people that might not understand that, yes, these resources are here for you to pick the right school, do the right thing, get educated, all these other type of things. We need more people like Jordan Colbert. Todd, what are your thoughts on this?
No, it's a great show so far. And yeah, God bless Jordan, all that he's doing for the people. And I'm sure nowadays with all the technology, and he talked a little bit about it, some of the things that are helping people. I'm sure now with all the technology, the advancements nowadays, people having more access to things.
They have more access to things. And with that comment, Todd, I'm going to bring Jordan right back, but I got to bring him on the right way.
Music. Bringing it in.
It's kind of like Jolene. Hey, Todd, I want you to pick, not Todd, but Jordan, I want you to pick it up where you was explaining all those things toward the end. And because I want our viewers to really get an understanding of accessibility or technology and all that stuff. So can you pick it up from that point where you was going in? We had to take the station break. But you was on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I was just explaining that really, assistive and accessible technology, also known as adaptive technology, really exists. And like Todd was just saying, it's really just, blowing up. It's becoming, something that's just rapidly changing because there's so many things that are coming out day to day, especially with AI. So something that Apple is doing is that for people who no longer can speak, who may be losing their voice due to certain disabilities, or maybe even if, they're losing just mobility, such as things like, how Stephen Hawkins was with ASL, they've been able to replicate your own speech. And they have this marvelous story about how somebody who was losing their voice due to cancer was able to, they were really concerned about being able to read to their children to go to school or to go to sleep. And what that they did was they were able to record a couple of snippets of their voice. And Apple was able, because of the built-in technology, was able to learn all of the way that they speak, and anything that was typed then was said in their voice, and it was accurate. It sounded just like them. Now that can be scary in the wrong hands, but for people with disabilities who may be losing one of these major functions in life, to speak, to see, to walk, to do these type of things, this is amazing that's coming out. And, like I was saying earlier about people who may have dyslexia or who may not be able to see, there's technology now that will read to them. And it's not reading in the computer voice that Siri has. It's reading in a real life voice. I think there's a program called Speechify, which actually has Snoop Dogg's voice. And I use that sometimes just to listen to, articles and news and things like that, where I get to hear some really high level thoughts come out of Snoop Dogg's mouth. And it's incredible. Because that's really what's there. And I know that they're starting to use AI to try and replicate sight for those who are losing their sight. So these type of technologies are just groundbreaking and incredible, and they help individuals day to day. It's those type of individuals who may have not had these opportunities because the technology wasn't there, but today they do.
Well, you mentioned AI, and AI is just taking over the world. I'm talking
literally taking over the world.
If someone was thinking about investing, not that we're going there, you need to look no further than AI. That is going to be the future of the world. Nothing is going to change. I'm saying AI is going to become smarter and smarter and smarter because it's built upon an algorithm that teaches everything it sees, hears, every statistics, all of these things. So with AI, why is it so important that everybody need to be included? Until inclusivity, I think that's what the word that you use. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, inclusivity is huge. It's huge for a multitude of reasons, just for the purpose of actually understanding and making people feel like they belong. Because for a very long time, individuals with disabilities, individuals from different races were made to believe and feel that they were not included, that this world was not made for them, and that they did not have a place. But with AI is really important, because if individuals are not participating in certain areas where AI is learning, if individuals are not, being included in the development of these AI functions, then their experiences are being left out of this learning curve, which means it's only going to move forward without them in mind. And that's when we run into a lot of these problems with AI, where it's not recognizing, certain people's experiences. So something that's really important is thinking about the idea of AI interviews for people who may have disabilities. So imagine in an AI interview, if you have autism and you struggle to maintain specific eye contact. However, an AI mechanism is operating in the interview. You could be the best candidate for a job, and you can have, the best thoughts, the best abilities, but because of that one aspect of your disability that's out of your control, the AI would say didn't have strong eye contact, didn't look when they were speaking to them, they're out. They're not a qualified candidate. And that's really discriminatory, because the AI did not learn from the mechanism that there's a wide spectrum of disability of abilities, whether it's the area of a functional limitation or an area of an exceptional gift. The AI doesn't get that information included, and then it excludes others. And so that then has massive impacts, because that's jobs, that's opportunities for various things. It's so important to include people, because that's where we're moving towards. And if we don't include people, it's going to have serious repercussions that we're not expecting.
Well, this is a two-part question. You work in education, and so I do know that accessibility does not only apply to just schools and colleges. How does accessibility benefit businesses and organizations that, must have certain things for accessibility, rules and regulations? How does that? I think we got 2 minutes before the break. But my question is, how does accessibility, having a regulation, rules in play, benefit businesses and organizations?
Yeah. So the current estimates in the world is that disability affects somewhere between 10 to 25% of the population in the world. In the United States, it's from the last census, it's around 25%. So that's 1 in 4. So think about that as a business. If you're not marketing towards people with disabilities, or you're not being accessible towards people with disabilities, that's 25% of the market that you're losing. So just from a money sense, that's a bad business practice to be inaccessible. But then there's also laws that require things to be accessible, to create equal access and make sure that there's equality across the board for people with disabilities. And that's called the original one that started this was the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, which prevented the government from excluding people. But then there's also the Americans with Disabilities Act from 1990, which stopped discrimination against individuals with disabilities. And then there's some others that really pertain to businesses and what businesses can do in their practices and their processes that must allow people with disabilities to be involved.
Wow. We're going to take a station break, but I want to come back and pick it up, because we got so many other things that we're going to talk about. And this young man, just like I said, I love having him on the show, because you see what he brings to the table. Hey, Todd, I hope you still got a bag of popcorn left, because
I'm almost down to the kernels, James.
We're not done. And our viewers and listeners out there, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're on. You can ask any questions that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. But I tell you, You got to be part of the conversation because it's your life. And we'll be back shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
There's much truth in a journey that ain't over yet, as all of us journey through life's precious gift of time, just like I have. In the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, you can join James as he shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. This is a must listen for anyone who thinks they're stuck in life or needs to understand that their current situation is not their final destination. Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet is the unfiltered truth to provide hope for the future by challenging you to refuse to become a victim of life's circumstance and dare to become an overcomer, because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by Dr. James Cooley on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. And wow, I told you from the beginning that you needed 9 bags of popcorn. Todd only went out and got 3 bags. Now he's down to the kernels. Now he's trying to eat the paper. Hey, Todd, it's going to be other shows, man. Don't eat the paper that the popcorn came in.
Yes, sir. I got my popcorn and I got my notes.
So I tell you, Jordan, man, all of the things that you're doing, and especially it's been your mission with assistant things in your company, 18, that you're doing. Can you give us 3? Well, just give me one example, because I want Michelle to ask a couple questions of good news stories that you have received back from all of the things that you're doing, and even with the schools that you're working with.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been some great stuff that is happened in the world, especially just from some of the interactions that I've had with other people during my consultancies. So one of the things that I've worked on really recently has been working with an individual who was hoping to figure out what they're going to be able to do for law school. So they're transitioning from a college to a, they're interested in taking the LSAT, they're interested in doing those things. And this person had a significant mobility disability, and they were concerned, I'm not able to, I don't look like the part of a lawyer. I don't think that I'm going to be able to do this. And, they were really worried about what that means to have a disability and try to be a lawyer. But in reality, what that really is that is such a huge benefit, because think about all of the areas that need support in terms of like just being connected. That shows humanity. When you succeed in some way like that, and they pass the LSAT, and they're going to apply for all kinds of amazing like law schools because of how well they did, but they were so concerned about just what their appearance was or what their physical abilities were. And in reality, this is something that's important because others see that, and others see the representation there and say, you know what, I can be a lawyer too. And it changes the outcomes of children. It changes the outcomes of what's going on in that courtroom as well. So
Wow.
that's one story.
Wow. Do you believe that a lot of, whether it's schools or organizations, they're becoming a little bit more, I would say, sensitive to the needs of those with disabilities? Because I look at, there are some places, whether it's an organization or let's say a business establishment, that still are not making entry into the establishment accessible for those with disabilities. Can you kind of discuss, Jordan, how some of them have gone by and just let the things slide like that?
Yes. So this is a phenomenal question, Michelle, because in reality, that is the crux of what oppression really is. Now, there are some businesses that, because of the way that their laws were written, if it wasn't, made accessible before a certain time, like if it was built before that, it does not have to retrofit and be made accessible. Now, if a renovation happens, it does have to be accessible legally. But when you fast forward to today, and there's still things that are being made that are not accessible, and they're just going about their business, they're going about their day. The reality is, what that says to individuals is that you're not welcome here. And in many cases, people say to themselves, this is just another one of those places. And they move on, they go to the next one, or they go somewhere where they feel accepted or they feel they have access. When in reality, what needs to happen is that somebody needs to speak up about that, because in the news, you'll see nowadays that there are a lot of companies being sued, not for their physical inaccessibility, but for their digital accessibility, because people who use certain technologies or people who have certain disabilities can't access their information online. So think about those type of businesses that have a lot of flashing lights on their pages or something like that. If you're a customer and you want to go to this website to maybe order something from there, but when you get on the page, those flashing lights either cause a migraine or cause you to have a seizure, you're never going to go back to that website. And you're most likely being excluded, and you could sue because of that, because it's not meeting the legal guidelines that are there. And so some of these companies, the real reason why they're able to persist without, having to meet these standards is because nobody has said anything yet. And that's the key in oppression, is that oppression makes it so you don't want to take those steps. You say, it's not worth it. I don't have the energy to fight this fight. And you move on. And the real problem is that means that it just is allowed to continue. It's allowed to be the way that it is. And that's a big part of why I personally am in this field as well, is that, it's exhausting to have a disability and have to go through that all the time, because nobody wants to live their entire life fighting for, just to be recognized or just to be able to do the things that others do.
You mentioned disabilities. Of course, disabilities doesn't have to be evident as far as physical. Let's say there's reading disabilities. And it was brought to my attention recently, things, let's say whether it's digital or even just certain advertisements. Sometimes we were told that all caps may not be, let's say, welcoming to someone who has maybe a reading disability, or maybe, maybe they're not the all caps letters or the big fonts it depends on each person, is not, I should say, it's not welcoming. It's not allowing that person to truly read and to understand what is presented in front of them. I hope I'm making sense.
No, you are. That is actually the thing.
And it's interesting because a lot of people don't know that, because, whether you're marketing or advertising, you're doing what is flashy, but you have to take in everybody and the audience, whether it's whether it's a teen group, young adults, but what about young adults with disabilities? So maybe they should start doing their research. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that is 100% true. I think that is phenomenal. It's funny because now that I live and I work in this field, this is like my life. I walk out and I'll be in a certain place and I'll see something and just be like immediately, oh, that's not accessible. You think about the colors that you use. So people don't think about this, but color blindness is a disability. And imagine if you're showing a symbol that only is denoting what is going on by the color. So you could have two things and one is good and one is bad, and you're supposed to pick one. But if they're both in colors that are inaccessible, so maybe you have red-green color blindness, they look the same if you're using green and red. And so that's also, when you think about things, here's something you probably never ever considered, but a stoplight is always red, yellow, green. And the reason for that is because even if you are colorblind, if the top light is lit, that means stop. That means stop. If the red, yellow, green. Yeah, that means the yellow means slow down if it's in the middle. And if it's at the bottom, that means go.
Wow. James, do you have any other comments for Jordan? We're down to our last minute.
I just want to say, hey, Jordan, it's always a pleasure having you on the show, bro. And you bring so many great things to everything that you do and everything that we're doing in promoting all different types of things, because our show is called It's Your Life. And I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show.
Happy to be here, JC. Always happy to be here.
Oh, yeah. And I want to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. I want to thank everybody because you found to. I'll tell you what, I want everybody to have a great weekend. But you can tune into my show tomorrow as well at 10 p.m.
To fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one